What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and I'm going to talk today about societal institutions. And people put way too much trust into societal institutions. And when I say societal institutions, I mean the government, I mean corporations, I mean religions, I mean the UN, the World Health Organization, anything that's some kind of organization, the media, whatever, anything that puts itself up there as some sort of societal, organizational, institutional structure, the education system, the military. There are many of these societal institutions. It's a common thing, they're everywhere, but people just put way too much trust into them. And the thing is, people don't even stop to look at what these societal institutions are, where these societal institutions come from, what these societal institutions really are about. They don't look at it at all. They just say, well, because this authority figure said it, it must be true. And then people in their minds make these institutions, and the people who run these institutions or work with these institutions, they make that into an authority figure within their mind. And then whatever these societal institutions say, people will take it as like absolute truth and as a gospel. And I'm telling y'all, do the opposite. Do not trust these societal institutions. All of them are corrupt. All of them have agendas. All of them lie. And you should trust someone who is truthful. You should trust people who have good morals and ethics and people who tell the truth. You should not trust someone who says, I'm from this organization, I'm from the government bureau of whatever, I'm from this, I'm from that, and whatever. And the only reason this stuff has so much power is because everybody believes in it. Everybody worships the beast. Everybody believes in this stuff and empowers this stuff and enables this stuff. And because of that, we are all put into bondage by societal institutions. They hold us hostage. They control, they control how we get our money. We got to get a job. We got to go through all the system for that to make money. They can send police or military or whatever to come get us if they don't like us. They can do that, They can bring us into the courts and drag us through that if they don't like us there. They control knowledge with the education system, so they get to say what is true and what is not true. They use religions to try to control our connection with God and to try to say that you need to do all this stuff and you need to go to this building and you need to whatever, get involved in this institution to get in touch with God. And God is very, very far above these little societal institutions. God is so far above that. And God does not require us to use societal institutions to get in touch with him. It's actually, societal institutions are run by Satan. They are run by the beast. They are run by the devil. They are run by Lucifer. So if you want to make communion with the devil, if you want to make communion with evil, so the societal institutions are a great place to go for that. But if you want to get in touch with God and goodness, you have to get outside of the societal institutions. And the thing is, we're held in bondage by them. You can't just live and be free and build some house out in the woods by yourself. There's regulations, there's this, you got to pay taxes, whatever, you got to do all this stuff. And people act like it's for the greater good, but I'm really starting to think that it's not. I'm really starting to wake up and realize that it's not. And the more I learn about what kind of people are in power and what kind of people run society, and I start to learn about groups like the Freemasons, and you start to learn about people like Jeffrey Epstein, and you start to realize that most of the people who are in power are very, very creepy, evil, perverse, ABUSIVE people, and they are psychopaths and sociopaths and horrible people. It's like, and those are the people who are in charge of these societal institutions. And those are the people who set up these societal institutions. And we all go, well, because the media said it, it's true, it must be true. Well, because the educational system taught it, it must be true. It must be true, because the religions say it must be true. And then there are all these enablers, like the vast majority of the whole earth enables this and goes along with this and is like, we have to prop this up, just because we're all getting together and repeating the lie, because we're all saying this lie together, it's going to have some quote unquote truth to it, because everyone is saying the lie, and because everyone is believing the lie, and because this collective lie is just being put onto everybody, then it's like people then take it as truth. And even if it's not true, you have to work around it because everybody is caught up in it. Money is the same way. Money's the same way, like the Federal Reserve and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's just like when you really look into it, it's all just a bunch of nonsense. It's all just a game. It's all fake. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation. It's not even part of the federal government. And if it was, I don't even know if that would make it that much better. But, it's just like you look at these societal institutions and it's just like, oh my God, oh my God. And, when you look at certain events like COVID-19 and 9/11 and stuff like that, it's like they want you to just go with the official story and the official narrative and not ask questions. But when you really look into it, it's like, man, the societal institutions are doing sketchy stuff and they are really, really lying to us bad. They are trying to deceive us and pull the wool over our eyes and put a veil over us and use so much manipulation and lies and tricks. And once you really realize the societal institutions are evil, they are evil, and people just put so much trust into them, and people just like love the Matrix and love the beast and love societal institutions, and they bow down and worship this stuff and enable this stuff and are like, isn't the government so great? Isn't politics so great? Isn't the university system so great? Like the people start to, other things that the World Health Organization is so great. The World Economic Forum is so great, people are just like, have this mentality that it's like, well, it's the word because it says world, it says economic, and it says forum, and it has a bunch of very rich people in it. Therefore, what they say we need to do, that we need to follow their plan. And it's like, you realize these kind of people are very into underage children. You realize that. We see that with Epstein. You realize that these people are psychopaths, and these people don't like us. They don't care about us. They don't want to protect us. They don't care about us, the little guy. They want to crush us so they can make more billions and smash us into the ground until there's nothing left of us. That's what they want to do. They want to hollow us out until we are dry. They want to have us so we can't afford food, we can't afford clothes, we can't afford houses. They want to put us out there and make us just destitute and make us having to work 3 freaking jobs just to get by. That's what they want, That's what all of them want. And then you got the military and all these crazy wars and all this stuff. And, I try to support the troops and whatever, but when I really look at what's going on with a lot of these wars, it's just like, why are we in these countries doing this thing? What's going on? It's all based on 9/11 pretty much. That's the whole crux of the whole thing. And, the thing is, it's like when you have people like Epstein and you have these kind of characters, like there's thousands of Epsteins, maybe millions of Epsteins worldwide. It's like when you think about somebody like that, like, yeah, they would do a fake attack. Yeah, they would let a genetically engineered virus out. Like they're psychopaths. Of course they would. They don't care, And I think when people realize the attitude and the mentality of the people who are running the world, and the attitude of the people, it's very cynical. It's very, very cynical. It's all start up something, the Bureau of True Information, the fact-checking bureau, and I'll start this not-for-profit or whatever, and then I'll check the facts, and then I'll determine what is true and what is not true, And that's what a lot of the big tech companies are doing. That's what things like the Anti-Defamation League do. I mean, the Anti-Defamation League uses quote unquote hate speech, but that's more what they do, but they set these things up, and then they just anoint themselves with authority, and because people are just, your average person is just so ignorant too. Like, your average person has no idea what's going on. Your average person is just completely clueless to this. And, these predators come out and your average person just says, oh, wow, the predators are awesome. Isn't he so charming and cool? And, they go, oh, wow. And I think people just maybe love bureaucracy or love authority or love just following rules or something. I don't know. I think there's a lot of cynical people and a lot of just people who just want to follow rules. And I think that they think that if they follow the quote unquote rules, then that sort of makes them this authority figure, and they get to boss other people around and try to make other people follow the rules, or they get to try to look they get to look down their nose at other people and act like, oh, I follow the rules, I'm better than them. And I don't know, I think it just feeds people's egos. It feeds people's egos. And I think a lot of people just don't want to know the truth either. They want to stay in the sweet lie. They want to live in the sweet illusion. But I mean, the thing is like, these societal institutions are just going to keep growing and growing, and we're just going to keep shrinking and shrinking, and they're going to rob us blind. They're going to take everything we have, and they're going to put us all in the poorhouse. I'm telling you, they're not trying to look out for you. That's not their goal. It's not their goal at all. And it's like, I don't know what keeps, I think what keeps us, the people, from getting totally dismembered is the fact that we do actually have power that we don't know about. There is power in the people. If we all get together, there's a lot of power in that. And ultimately, if we all say no to this stuff and we put our foot down and we say no to societal institutions, I think this stuff will stop. But people are so far away from that, and people have this idea that we need to be quote unquote governed. We need to have this. We need to have that, and I don't know. I don't know what to replace this stuff with. I don't know what the exact full solution is or whatever. I mean, we probably need a government on some level, but I think people's idea of it is not that the government is there to serve us, is that we serve the government. And the government is this godlike figure that's here, and we're down here, and it's like, I can crush you anytime I want. And we're all like, oh, please don't crush me. And I think a lot of people are in fear. And I think a lot of these institutions subtly put people in fear. The educational system puts people in fear. You're thrown in these schools. You have these tests. You have to be a fit in. And then you got to go to university. And you got to pay all this money. And you get these loans. And it breaks you down, Religions will break you down with judgment and, condemnation and just like all this just fake stuff and all this toxicity that's going on, and yeah, like I just think these societal institutions are just, there's another way to do it. There has to be another way for us to have a society and have a civilization without having these stupid societal institutions. And I mean, I think you can have an institution or an organization. It's just people worship the organization. They worship it. And people give these things way too much power. It's like people are willing to give absolute power to these organizations. I mean, chiefly the government, There's this idea that, the government should have absolute power over us. And I don't think that's what the founding fathers wanted. I don't think that's what their vision was, I don't know. I mean, it goes deeper than that, though. It goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, It goes back really far. But, we need to start to think for ourselves, and we need to really start to question these societal institutions and look at what these societal institutions are really all about, and really realize that just because you are a societal institution, that does not magically give you all this power. They're not magically empowered to decide what is right and wrong all of a sudden just because they are a societal institution. They don't just magically get this godlike power. It's because we, the people, are enabling them. We're enabling them hard, and we are looking up to this stuff way too much. We should be looking up to God. We should not be looking up to these societal institutions. People make this stuff idols in their life. They make politics an idol. They make the government an idol. They make the education system an idol. They make social movements and social causes an idol, They make the military an idol. They make the world's government, the UN, the World Health Organization, the Economic Forum, all that stuff an idol. They make pursuing money and the corporations an idol. People idolize this stuff and bow down to this stuff and give this stuff way too much power over us. And we're going to be consumed by this stuff if we don't do something. If we don't do something, it's just going to be more and more and more of these organizations, and they're going to say, oh, I'm the health organization. So now you have to do all the stuff I say for health, and you have to take this vaccine or do this or that or whatever, and it's like, hey, just because you're saying you're some institution doesn't automatically give you power, But people really, the whole authority figure thing, if someone says they're a doctor, people are just like, well, if you're a doctor, that means you must know absolutely everything. And, I get that people do have knowledge and have studied stuff and whatever. I get that. I'm not going to say that we should, throw away people who have knowledge or whatever. It's important to have knowledgeable people and stuff like that. But I think people just take it to an insane extreme where it's like, hey, this scientist is a person. And it gets even worse with politicians, because at least a doctor or a scientist does have hard knowledge that they have, whereas a politician, a pastor, a social leader, I don't know what they call it, with these kind of movements, a community activist, whatever, all this stuff is like, those are the biggest con men, Those are the biggest liars and deceivers. All they got to do is just say something to make people happy. All they got to do is just say something. People are like, oh, authority figure. And then they start some institution, and then that institution is, the big institution, and yeah, I'm ranting pretty hard in this video. I get that we need societal institutions on some level. I understand that we need a government and that, whatever. I also understand that there are authority figures. Having an authority figure in society is necessary in a lot of ways. It's just that people just make this stuff. They put way too much power into this stuff, and people just get way too into this stuff and just make this stuff into an idol that it is not, But I really think people need to question societal institutions a lot more. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here, but thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. It's much love, God bless, and I am out.